The following conversations are taken from our channel membership exclusive weekly live show that we do on Saturdays from 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time to 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time called Members Talk Live. Find out how you can become a member and appear on the show. All of the information is down in the description below, as well as all of the links to the channels of today's guests. Check them out, and I hope to talk with you very soon. For today's Members Talk Live, we've got a whole bunch of topics to talk about. We got 2 new trailers to talk about, Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes as well as Echo. There's a new Chris Pratt Garfield movie coming out. Snow White and Seven Dwarfs dropped their first look as well as delayed their movie to 2025. And The Marvels is coming out in just a few days. So we're going to talk about how we're feeling about The Marvels leading up to it. And to talk about all that with me, I've got some amazing members here today. First off, everybody give a very warm welcome and happy birthday to our birthday boy, DJ, over at the Movie Time Minute.
What's up, guys? What's up, Zach? Thanks for having me.
I love that you're rocking the party hat, man. We all should have gotten party hats, man. We should have coordinated that. Oh man. And I love the Scott Lang book too.
Yeah.
Like that's amazing. You know what? I think that book completes your look. I think you can now say that your studio is done. It looks perfect. I love the lighting.
Yeah.
You've done a lot of work over there.
I have.
Days.
Yeah, and I just recently moved the shelf that was here over so I could get some of my images here. So the shelf is now behind me instead of to the side. And I like a lot of what I've done here.
Yeah, man, it looks amazing. I love it. And also joining us, we've got Frank from Optimistic Forever. What's going on, man?
Yeah, not too bad. Doing good. And a happy birthday to DJ. This is his day.
Man, both you guys have since we started Members Talk Live, you guys have really upgraded your sets. Like you've got a great angle, a great camera now, Frank. And I mean, DJ,
yeah.
your quality has gone up since the last time we've talked as well. Like, great job, guys. Great job. It looks amazing. All right, so moving on first to our first topic of the night, guys. I don't know about you, but if you ask someone, hey, what's your favorite movie trilogy of the last 10 years? Odds are you're going to hear Planet of the Apes, the trilogy that was kicked off by Rupert Wyatt with Rise of the Planet of the Apes. And then Matt Reeves took over for Dawn and War. How do you guys feel about those movies? Did you enjoy those trilogies? We'll start with you, DJ.
Yeah, I love this trilogy. The third one I didn't like as much as the first two, but I still liked it. I thought the first one was fantastic. What Andy Serkis is able to do with mocap in these movies is phenomenal. Really excited to see more.
Yeah, absolutely. And Frank, how about you? Did you see these movies? What have you thought of them?
Well, I'm going to keep it very short, honest, and all that. I'm a huge fan of the original OG Planet of the Apes.
Nice.
So I'm just gonna have to say that I have not seen the trilogy, but seeing the trailer, it kind of boosts a little bit more of that interest and reminder of Frank, when the hell are you gonna even watch this? I like the trilogy itself.
So, is it your devotion and love to the original Planet of the Apes that has kept you from watching the new ones?
Yeah, I would say so because I've seen it twice, and honestly, I've seen it. This was the year early this year. I've seen it the first time, and then second time just very recently again, just 2 months ago. So yeah, I would say I think it's because of that. I feel like I don't know about much about trilogy, but I'm still open minded, and I give these movies a chance.
So when the trilogy wrapped up back in 2017, it was kind of dormant for a little bit. I mean, the last one, War from the Planet of the Apes, did take a dip in the box office, did not do nearly as well as the first two. So it was a really silent franchise for a little bit. And then I believe it was just last year, that they announced, kind of out of the blue, that they were doing a fourth installment. They were going with Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. Andy Serkis is not going to be involved as... Spoiler alert for Frank. Caesar met his demise at the end of the trilogy. We're moving on with a whole new set of characters. A new director, Wes Ball, is coming in here. So out of nowhere, they announced this movie. They dropped one concept art, and then it's been kind of quiet again. But yesterday, the noise was made once again because we've got our first look, our first teaser trailer for Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. Before we get into the trailer itself, this comes to us from Variety, and they say... Picking up several years after the events of War for the Planet of the Apes, the 20th Century Studios franchise is back with a trailer for its newest chapter, Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, set to premiere May 24th, 2024. When Caesar died at the end of the last film, the fourth entry in the modern Planet of the Apes saga will be set several generations following his reign. Apes are now the dominant species, with humans living in the shadows. When a new tyrannical and ape begins to build his empire, a young ape embarks on a journey where he will make choices that will define the future for both apes and humans. When I watched this trailer, which, by the way, beautiful looking trailer. I mean, some of the visual effects didn't look up to par with the trilogy, but I think that's to be expected. They're still working on them. They still have plenty of time to get them perfected before the movie comes out. One of the things that really stuck out to me about this trailer, and I'm going to go to you, Frank, about this, since you're the big Planet of the Apes fan around here. This feels like it's really starting to catch up with the Charlton Heston original 1968 Planet of the Apes. I mean, you had the classic shots of the apes on horseback. They were chasing down humans. They had the lassos. They were rounding them up. There was some really awesome shots of the humans in the wild, looking scared, trying to hide from the apes. Even this shot here was very reminiscent to me of how the apes were dressed and how they looked in the original, with the makeup, with the masks on, and they're talking like perfect English now. Like in the trilogy, their English was kind of broken up, so that's definitely showing an advancement in their society. The fact that they're speaking perfect, which I will admit was kind of jarring at first. It felt weird to see them just speaking perfect English, but I really thought that this trailer was a lot of fun and looks like a real natural progression of the story that I was not expecting to get. So I'll ask you, DJ, what did you think of this trailer overall? What were all your thoughts? What stood out to you? And how much are you looking forward to this movie?
Yeah, I think the trailer looks phenomenal. I was surprised I didn't even catch. You said William H Macy's name in there. I love William H Macy from stuff like Shameless and even
Yeah.
funny things like Wild Hogs or Jurassic Park 3. Really like him. So the fact that he's in it kind of excites me a little bit. I hope he has a decent role in it. But I think it looks great. I think the effects look as good, if not better, than the other movies have looked, and that's always been a positive with this franchise. I think it's going to be really good, and I'm excited for it.
It's interesting that you say that you thought the effects looked even better than the trilogy did, because I kind of felt like they were just a little bit of a step, but in the trailer, just in the trailer, I felt like they were a
Okay.
little bit shoddy at times. But I'm not going to judge that too harshly because, like I said, there's plenty of time where they can still. I mean, this looked amazing.
Yeah,
This
that there
looks
looks good.
absolutely incredible, especially as a still. But there are some things that I think they're going to keep working on. But yeah, Frank, how about you? I mean, you saw the trailer. You haven't really seen the trilogy, but you're a big fan of the franchise. Do you agree with me that this looks like it's starting to catch up to the Charlton Heston original?
I would 100%. I mean, when I looking at the trailer, looking at and it's good that you brought up their speech skill. The perfect English, which does captivate. How the behaviors, just how it was played out in the original. It's one of the things that actually caught my attention, that drew me more to like really say to myself, like, okay, you know what, I'm absolutely going to give this a chance. There's no doubt, because it also has that feel, because I love when the lore expands on a franchise, and if they're going to build like prequels, for examples, like count me in 100%, because this trailer does in its stories just kind of gives that impression for me.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, like you said too, like I could see even like in the next movie, like in the fifth movie, Charlton Heston getting recast his character and him coming into the next one and just completely redoing the original Planet of the Apes, because it really does look like now that we've gotten this trailer that is what they are intending to build up to. And he's made it just in the nick of time. We got Kenny Sparks. Ken is here. What's going on, man?
Hey, what's up, y'all? How's it going?
So, Ken, yeah, we were just about to move on, but now that you're here,
Mhm.
we want to hear your thoughts, man. Did you get a chance to catch this Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes trailer, and what'd you think of it?
I did get a chance to react to it. I saw it. I love it. Planet of the Apes trilogy from the 2010s is one of the most underrated trilogies
Mhm.
post the year 2000. I actually talked about a bunch of trilogies that are underrated post the year 2000, and that is my highlight. I love those movies, and I'm really looking forward to seeing where they go from coming off the third one.
I was saying earlier, it looks like their plan is to build up to a remake of the original Planet of the Apes, because we're getting really close to that timeline. Do you think within the next movie or two we will see a recasted Charlton Heston character and they'll just completely remake and do a modern version of the 1968 original?
I think it's possible. I know that they can go many different directions, but that would be pretty cool for the fans to see. I believe. Just seeing, and because it wasn't announced as such, it makes it even better, right? They're not saying,
It does.
"Hey, we're planning this prequel to lead us up to," because when the first one, I think it's Rise of the Planet of the Apes. When the first one came out, I didn't expect it to do anything but its own thing. I actually didn't even expect a sequel after that. So to get us to that point, kind of organically in a sense, would be pretty cool.
Absolutely, man. I second those thoughts entirely. So with that, guys, I mean, we know how it goes around here. Thumbs up if you buy it, thumbs down if you sell it. So what do we think of this Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes and their first trailer? Do we buy it or resell it? Yeah,
Sorry.
I think we're all on the same page. Thumbs up. Yeah, great trailer. Great first look.
Yeah.
In terms of surprises, I would say we got a pretty big one yesterday. I don't know about you guys, but Echo was not really a character that I got that invested in when she appeared in Hawkeye. And when they announced that they were going to do an Echo series after Hawkeye, I was very on the fence of, is this a good idea? Like,
Mhm.
why focus on this? I don't see the point. I don't see. Hopefully you guys have a good story, but you really got to win me over.
Right.
And
Yeah.
2 days ago, I would say Echo. Nah, I don't know. Coming out in January, couldn't care less. Maybe I'll check it out. It was so in the back of my mind that it was forgettable to me. The whole idea of Echo coming out was just not on my radar very much at all. Well, jump to yesterday. We have a completely different discussion going on. Before we get into this trailer, there's also something very interesting that came along with this trailer, a development for Marvel Studios. This comes to us from comicbookmovie.com. The first trailer for Echo made its debut on Friday, showcasing the latest Disney Plus series set within the Marvel Cinematic Universe. The live-action series will not only be the franchise's first TVMA showing, surprise number one, but it'll also air simultaneously on Disney Plus and Hulu. And apparently, it'll also kick off a brand new banner. In a recent article about Echo, Marvel Studios revealed that the series is inaugural title under the Marvel Spotlight banner. The label will be used on titles that present a wider variety of stories, which don't require as much prior knowledge of the MCU. The name Marvel Spotlight originates from a Marvel Comics anthology series of the same name, which ran across the 1970s and 1980s and led to many character debuts. Marvel Spotlight gives a platform to bring more grounded, character driven stories to the screen, and in the case of Echo, focusing on street level stakes over the larger MCU continuity. Head of streaming Brad Winderbaum explained. Just like the comics, fans don't need to read Avengers or Fantastic Four to enjoy a Ghost Rider Spotlight comic. Our audience doesn't need to have to see other Marvel series to understand what's happening in Maya's story. First of all, I love this idea of Marvel Spotlight.
Yeah.
And I am very shocked that it just kind of feels like it came out of nowhere. There was no like ramp up to this idea. There was no leaks about this possibly happening. This is just happening. And apparently it's been in the works for a while, because going to this Echo trailer, this was not what I was expecting from an Echo trailer. I think because she debuted in Hawkeye, I was expecting more of like a look and feel of a Hawkeye series, but following
Mhm.
Echo. This thing, guys, was gritty, and it was so like it felt like a lot of people have said it, but it felt like a Netflix series. I
Yep.
mean, first of all, I find it hilarious that Kingpin and Daredevil were rumored to be in, in this show, because Kingpin is all over this trailer.
Yeah.
Like, he is everywhere, and I loved the action. I loved the feel. I loved the atmosphere. I mean, just like the guy at the beginning of the trailer, this felt like Kingpin came and punched me in the face with what
Oh,
this trailer delivered. I was just not like, look at that. That is bloody. That is gruesome. That is not what you would expect to see on Disney Plus. I gotta go to you, Ken. I gotta hear your thoughts. Echo, where was your excitement level before
mhm.
this trailer dropped on Friday, and after you watched it? I mean, how are you feeling about this series?
So before I watched the trailer, I definitely want to say I didn't think that this show. I thought there was a possibility that this show was not coming out at all. After everything that
Yeah.
Bob Iger said about we're cutting down on projects and some projects just outright might not be coming out, I thought that Echo had a chance of being one of the ones on the chopping block. So to see a new trailer come out, I was surprised because I didn't get the announcement that a new trailer was coming out. And after seeing the trailer, I cannot wait to watch this show. This show looks amazing. I did definitely remark about how much Kingpin was in the beginning of the trailer. It seemed very Kingpin focused, which is smart from a marketing perspective because people who are coming from those Netflix series are going to want to see Kingpin be Kingpin the way we've seen him be in the Netflix show. So I'm really excited about it. And as far as like the Marvel Spotlight stuff, I think that that's a great idea. When Marvel did their special feature or the special presentation of Werewolf by Night, and they did their special presentation of the holiday special, I thought that those were some of the best, if not the best things that Disney Plus had put out because it was short, contained, and they got to the point very quickly, which was part of the problem with the Hawkeye show, was that it didn't get to the point quickly enough. So I think that this is a great opportunity for us to meet new characters in a short amount of time. I think this series is only going to be 5 episodes, so you don't have a lot of time to dilly-dally, and it doesn't, from what we've seen so far from the trailer, just from the trailer, it doesn't look like they're dilly-dallying at all. So I'm really interested in seeing the show. Can't wait for January 10th. I'm really looking forward to it.
Yeah, going off to your point of the 5 episodes, that is something to also keep in mind. Like, this trailer was very action focused, and the action and the choreography of the fight sequences that we did see looks amazing, and the blood and the gore that was coming from, at least for a Disney Plus Marvel show, was very unexpected. Was a very nice surprise. We didn't get much about story in this first trailer, so we don't necessarily know how well that's going to be told. I'm hoping, my fingers are crossed, because it looks amazing now. But DJ, let's hear from you. What did you think of this trailer? What were you thinking before this trailer dropped, and what are you thinking after this trailer has dropped?
So this show is one that I was going to watch because it's MCU and I don't want to miss anything. That was the only reason I was going to watch this show, to be honest. Because Hawkeye is right now my least favorite MCU project they've ever done. And Echo not being a great character in that show, to me, was part of that reason. So I wasn't excited for this. However, that trailer dropped, and right now YouTube is blowing up with these trailer reactions. I mean, Kenny's got his reaction being put on other people's channels. So like, it's fantastic. Zack Attack had a tremendous reaction to this, and it's completely overshadowed that Variety article this past week with this show over the last 24 hours.
And I don't think there's any coincidence. I don't think there's any coincidence that they dropped this trailer after that Variety article came out.
It's worked, because all I'm seeing right now online is positivity. I don't think I've seen a single person so far that I've watched that was disappointed with this trailer. So this is all good looks and positive vibes right now. I just hope the show lives up to what it looks like in this trailer.
Yeah, as a fan of the Defenders First from the Netflix, this trailer had everything that I honestly had wished for, and that's why I always keep a very positive mind about it. And I'm glad that this happened. But even before the trailer, I was a little bit nervous. I mean, not everybody was talking about it. Echo was just a title that was passed on left and right, but not really like so much power-ups were there, were felt, and especially when it was announced that all the episodes were being dropped on the very same day. Like, that was also another factor that a lot of people were like kind of tuning out and were assuming that, okay, maybe it wasn't that good, maybe the quality is just not really there, and to top that all off, Marvel Studios really kept really hush, and even now with the strike going on, the actors really can't say much or at all on their social media or wherever they announce projects that they're involved in. And upon watching it yesterday, once it dropped, I just kept my mouth covered, half of my face covered as I was watching, because the echoes from Kingpin's grunts and punches, like, that just sent so much adrenaline in me that I just wanted to run laps around. It's so I just and this is, and again, this brings back into that whole feel of that dark and gritty tone that we've all wanted from Disney and Marvel Studios itself to finally put out there. Just the posture and and him speaking, like it just, this is the same Vincent D'Onofrio Kingpin in his prime, comic book wise, Netflix wise. Just give it to me right now, straight to dessert. I'm fine with it. Yeah, that's how excited I am. So
No, that's awesome. So talking a little bit about this Marvel Spotlight though, because this is something that I feel like this is just another sign of proof that Kevin Feige just listens to the fans. And I feel like people have been saying for a while now, Iron Man came out in 2008. I was 9 when I watched Iron Man when it first came out. I've been with the MCU now. I'm 25 years old. I want some mature content. I want some maturity. Like, you can get grittier, you can get violent, and you don't need to stay this Disney-fied, MCU all the time. And I feel like this spotlight is definitely their way of acknowledging and giving the fandom that, because it's also really cool, because I feel like something also that has been going on is people have felt like the MCU have gotten too convoluted with how connected it is and how everything just has to be connected to everything. And this feels like a way for them to kind of do standalone stories and do standalone things that happen that don't have to be affected in the universe. They don't have to be explained later on. They can just happen. They can give writers some more freedom. We've heard a little bit from Ken, but I want to hear from DJ and Frank as well. Like, how are you guys feeling about this new Marvel Spotlight idea?
I also feel like it's brilliant. The one thing I think about is the whole issue with like the superhero fatigue thing, and the idea of how most viewers and fans alike too, that things like, okay, we got to watch, I have to watch this movie, this series, just to treat it as like a project or homework. I think this makes the project feel more unique, and it's just simply telling everybody, like, this is something in on its own. I feel like this is something that should have happened, like, I feel when Moon Knight first premiered last year, because Moon Knight in itself is a unique story. And and if you know the story, like, you can notice that there's barely to nothing in regards to like the continuity of it. It's just, this is just what all that's happened, with this one character, well, two characters in this case, and that's it, nothing else. It was well story driven, and this trailer just illustrates that, where you kind of notice that it's more focused on the character. Like, we're hoping that if a second trailer drops, then we'll get a feel of like what to expect as far as story. So I think Marvel Spotlight banner in itself, like, it's great. It's a great way to go.
These spotlight comics like that are some of the best comics you can read, because they get to tell their story and be creative in the way they want to be. And I don't know, does this particular one, I think, is a great testing point for them to do something like this, because this is a character that I honestly feel like if it doesn't work, they can pivot away from this real quickly. Whereas if it was a major tentpole Marvel character, it would be a lot harder to do that. So I really like this idea. Try it out with Echo, see how it works. If people seem to love this and how it goes, keep doing these kind of stories. Keep telling these one shot spotlight stories like this. And then if you want to connect them in a little later, or at least bring the character into something else, you can still do that. Or if it doesn't work and you want to keep them by themselves, you can do that too. That's a great thing. That's one of the things I really like with what James Gunn's talking about, like keeping the Batman universe and Joker thing all separated and kind of doing its own thing. I'd like to see more of that with Marvel as well. So maybe this is that step.
Going into the chat real quick, we got our friend Dark Movies in here.
Hey.
Dobie, what's going on, man?
Hey,
thanks for joining
dude.
us. He's saying happy birthday, DJ. Throwing you some birthday love. He says, I did not care for Echo at all, but I'm a little bit excited now. Yeah, I cannot tell you how drastically I've gone from could not care less about this show to like actually anticipating January 10th. I'm really curious to see this new direction for the MCU. Frankie Beastmaker also says, I agree. When I first heard that they're going to do an Echo TV show, I was like, no, this is not going to work. But the trailer actually did its job, in my opinion. It looks like what Marvel needs to do. It looks like a very mature step for Marvel. Absolutely. Dark Movie says it looks very Netflixy, doesn't look like a Disney Plus show. Do you guys think? I wanted to throw this out there. You got
Mhm.
because how many of you guys have watched the Daredevil Netflix show?
The whole thing. Yeah.
The whole thing?
Mhm.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Okay. So I've only seen the first episode, so I haven't watched it. So I'm curious what you guys think based off watching this Echo trailer. Do you think they're going to connect things to the Daredevil Netflix show? Do you think that's why it looks so Netflixy? Do you see any world where there could be a connection, a follow-up to what happened in Daredevil with the show?
I want to say it would be hard not to, in a sense, but at the same time, I mean, we're in the multiverse era right now where
Mm-hmm.
they could literally just say, "No, this is our Kingpin. This is our version of it." In the Netflix show, there was no mention of an Echo or any kind of adopted daughter or anything like that. As a matter of fact, you wouldn't even have assumed that that was something that was happening. So it could be, or it's really a toss up of whether or not they could do that, or they would do that. Rather, they can for sure, but I'm not sure if they would.
I'm increasingly thinking they're going to keep this extremely vague. The further this
Mm.
gets in, I think they'll leave it up to us to decide if we want to link it together with the other one or not,
Mhm.
and not actually give a full yes or no.
I think a tell to that though would be because I believe Daredevil's in the show as well. Would be
Mhm.
their relationship
Yeah.
because their relationship would be a huge tell, especially with the way. And I won't give any spoilers for you, Zach, of how season 3 ended. That's going to be a very big
Oh yeah,
tell about whether or not this is actually connected. Because the way it ended, it's like this can't happen unless this, and this happens
Mm.
first. So I'll just leave it at that.
Correct.
There is like a 2-second blink and you miss it shot of what it looks
Mhm.
like Daredevil in his Netflix red suit.
Yep.
So,
Yeah.
Frank, did you catch that, or what do you
Yeah.
think about that?
I did. I did catch that. It was definitely like a blink and you miss it. I also want to point out that I feel like they're staying pretty vague and pretty hushed, like not confirming or denying that this is connected at all to the stories that we know from the Netflix series. But part of it too is it's like the breadcrumbs. If you notice in the trailer, I think there's like a split scene where Kingpin is in an art gallery, and we see that similar uh image also taking place in the first season of the Daredevil show.
Mm.
Yeah. So when I saw that,
Mhm.
I'm like, okay, this is slow. Okay, this could be like slowly confirming something, but I really can't set my heart out to the max and say like, yes, this is connected. So we just have to wait and see, like, what else they're going to show in the series. So
I mean, I think I already know the answer, but do we buy or sell this? Do we buy or sell all of this? I think
Goodbye.
we buy this. Yeah. 2 thumbs up from Frank. Perfect.
Mhm.
Moving on from Marvel for a quick second, I want to talk about Garfield. Garfield is coming back, and apparently Garfield's gonna be played now by Chris Pratt. I don't know if this was announced. I recently just saw this, so I thought this would be kind of fun to talk about.
Yeah.
It's from MSN.com. They said, helmed by director Mark Dindal, celebrated for his work on Chicken Little and The Emperor's New Groove, and featuring a script penned by David Reynolds, recognized for The Emperor's New Groove and Finding Nemo. The reboot, titled The Garfield Movie, is set to be a computer animated feature film based from the beloved Jim Davis comic strip. Although plot details remain under wraps, Mark Dindal's upcoming animated project is set to mark a fresh beginning for the franchise, promising to capture the spirit of the original comic strips with something to offer fans of all ages. I mean, I'm not like the biggest Garfield fan. I'll admit that. I read a little bit of like the compilation of comic strips in the school library in elementary school. I've seen the Bill Murray movies. I grew up with those, and I liked them a lot as a kid. I tried rewatching the first one like last year, and it did not hold up for me. It's not one of those childhood movies that transfers to adulthood for me. But one of the things about this that did catch my eye and actually has me a little bit interested is Chris Pratt's involvement in Garfield, because I am a big fan of Chris Pratt. I like a lot of Chris Pratt's work. I like him as an actor. And when I think back to him with his animated features, I like a lot of the animated features that Chris Pratt has been involved with. I
Mhm.
really like the Lego movie. Not so much the Lego movie 2, but I really like the first one. And he was great in Onward. And of
Yes.
course,
Yes.
yeah, he was great in Onward, and of course in Mario, he delivered a great performance in Mario with that as well. He is an interesting choice for Garfield, though, because when I think of Chris Pratt as a voice actor, when I think of the roles that he's had in the past, they're kind of peppy. They're kind of upbeat. His voice gives that kind of joyous charm to these characters. Whereas Garfield, as much as I don't like the live action ones from the early 2000s anymore as an adult, Bill Murray fit that perfectly for the kind of lazy, kind of monotoned cat. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
I'll throw it to you first, DJ.
Sure.
What's your history with Garfield? I'm
So-
just curious if you
Uh,
have any, and what do you
I
think of
love
this?
Garfield is my Patronus. Like
Really?
I love Garfield. I grew up like every comic book or a comic, the ones you got at the Scholastic book fairs when I was growing up. Anyway, at school, every time they came, I was picking up all the Garfield books they had, reading everything I could. I was grabbing the Sunday comics and Garfield and Peanuts and like some of those guys. Like I love that stuff, and I'm a huge Garfield fan. I love some of the animated series they've had. The movies disappointed me even as a kid, just because I think because I was reading that material so much. So I actually noticed this news back around the time he got announced for Mario. I was hearing about the Garfield thing too, or it was a rumor anyway at that point.
Okay.
And I thought that's different, but the voice acting he's done, maybe he wants to branch and try something a little bit different with his voice acting, and I'd love to see that because I'd love to see artists take things and expand on them and try to do something different with their craft. So that particular aspect of it, I'm very intrigued by. At first it don't seem like the obvious choice to play Garfield, but I think he's becoming a very talented voice actor, and I'm excited to see how he does with it.
Agreed.
Absolutely. And you know what? I'm not gonna doubt Chris Pratt because I don't want to be one of those people that were like, he can't play Mario, he's not
Yeah.
Italian, you know?
Mhm.
And I thought he
It
ended up
worked.
being great as Mario. It worked,
Mm.
It was
right?
great.
So
Yeah.
It did.
it could totally work as Garfield. But what do you think, Ken? What do you think? Well, first of all, what's your history with Garfield, if you have any? And how do you feel about this new movie coming out? Are you excited? Do you think Chris Pratt's a good fit for this? What do you think?
Very similar to DJ, the Sunday paper is where I saw Garfield all the time. Every time my mom would buy the Sunday paper to take the coupons out for the supermarket, I would take the comics part of it to look at Garfield. And I do remember the '90s cartoon and I never saw the movies actually. But yeah, so I feel good about Garfield. I don't have a negative feeling about Garfield whatsoever. As far as him being cast as Garfield, I think it's an interesting choice. But like you said, I don't doubt it either because I think a lot of times what happens is we as fans forget that these people are actors. So their whole job is playing people that are not themselves. Just like the Robert Pattinson thing with Batman. It was like, oh, you can't play it. He played a vampire before. It was like he's an actor. He can do the other thing too. Like that's the whole point of doing the acting. So with that, I think that he can morph into this into Garfield if he needs to. And I think the casting directors wouldn't have chosen him. He's not a big enough name, and there's always a lot of controversy surrounding him. So he's not a big enough name to say, I don't care what we're casting him in. I'm going to cast Chris Pratt. So he had to earn this, in my opinion. So I think that he'll probably do a good job because he did a great job with Mario.
Yeah, oh, wow, I'm excited for that. I grew up mostly with the cartoon, absolutely. When they were featured on, I believe it was on Cartoon Network or Nickelodeon, I can't remember. But
Oh yeah, the Garfield show.
yeah,
I did watch a
that.
little bit of that when I was growing
I
up.
remember
Yeah,
seeing it on Fox Saturday morning cartoon.
Fox Kids.
There we
Yeah.
go.
Yeah.
There we go. That must have been it. So that's where I became familiar with the fun and animated aspect of it. And honestly, like I did watch the movie itself, but I really don't remember those. Like I watched it, but I can't remember like what the plot point or anything of it. And maybe it
There
was
was
that
no
bad.
plot point. There was no plot. to
Maybe
those
it was that bad. And I think there was a sequel to it, and even that I remember less. The only thing I remember in the scene was the animal, and I think it was taking place in England. And one of the ducks was like trying to sneak in or trying to run away, and they were spotted by the humans, and the duck was like, "We're sitting ducks," and that was just like such a cheesy joke they've just put in. That's the only thing I remember. So as far as Chris Pratt, like I am there for it. I mean, I give Garfield as many chances as I can if they find the right niche to it, and I feel with Chris Pratt, it's gonna deliver pretty well. He has amazing range, and that's something that most fan critics in particular has to recognize as far as actors is that they can be versatile and they can go from something that they've been doing for quite some time to many other avenues that we can explore and get a feel of their talents. So I'm there for it.
And I think another thing about this too is the talent behind the camera as well, because they talked about how the director and the writer they did The Emperor's New Groove and Finding Nemo. Now I'm not like the biggest Emperor's New Groove fan. I liked it a lot when I watched it as a kid. It's not a Disney classic that I revisit often, but Finding Nemo is. I love Finding Nemo, and the fact that they got someone who wrote Finding Nemo working on this, I've got pretty big confidence in this animated film based off of those works in the past.
I think it's tremendous choices. I'm actually reverse with you on the Finding Nemo and Emperor's New Groove. But,
Really?
yeah, I love Emperor's New Groove. So good. I don't know, but I think it's a great choice. You get somebody with experience, somebody that knows what they're bringing to the table with an animated feature like this, knows how to take an animal character we've seen in those movies and make them funny, make them good. So I think that's great. Yeah, sorry for jumping up and running over there. It just I got to thinking about my books from grade school, and this hat keeps trying to fall off of me. But this is one. It shows DJ Smith second grade. So I've had this book since the second
Wow.
grade, and it's three
God.
Garfield
Awesome.
compilations in one is what this one is. So
That's
real
awesome.
thick book of that. So I had to show that off since we're talking Garfield here.
That's awesome, man. I mean, how often do you get to pull that out, right?
Right?
And
Yeah. It's like I'm putting it back and waiting for my son to be able to read it with me. But
and no apology needed, man. It's your birthday. You can do whatever you want.
Oh yeah.
Ken, how about you with the talent behind the scenes on this? What's
I mean,
your confidence level with this?
Yeah, confidence level is super high. I think that Emperor's New Groove I really enjoy as well as Finding Nemo. The thing that you can pull from both of those movies is that they have incredible humor in those movies. So I think that this is a great selection of talent and experienced selection of talent as well to put behind the camera of Garfield. Yeah, so I'm looking forward to it.
For both, I'm a fan of both. Just Finding Nemo. I mean, even Finding Dory too, a little bit. And
Was surprisingly not bad.
exactly right. And again, as well as Emperor's New Groove. So as long as the humor just continues to flow, like it'll have my attention. It'll have me seated and invested, and that'll be all.
Perfect. Well, I think we can just end it there and go with buy or sell. Do we buy this new Garfield movie? Yeah. I think it's thumbs up all the way around. Yeah, I'm gonna buy it for now. That's awesome. Snow White and the Seven Dwarves. So Disney's been doing these live action remakes for a number of years now, and they're hits, they're misses. For me personally, they're more misses than they are hits. The latest one that appears to be coming out is Snow White and the Seven Dwarves, and this comes to us from Variety. They say that Rachel Zegler stars as Snow White and Gal Gadot plays the evil queen. Anzu Kabiya co-stars as the huntsman, and Andrew Burnop plays a new character named Jonathan. The Seven Dwarves have been reimagined for the remake, and Zegler has said that this new iteration will not be as focused on romantic subplot, but instead will show Snow White become the leader her father encouraged her to be. The reimagined storyline in Zegler's casting, she will be the first Latina to play Snow White, have generated some online criticisms for veering and from the source material, which is stupid, but we're not here to talk about that. We're here to talk about this first look, because I saw this first look. This is the first look of the movie, and I've had nightmares for the past couple days from this image personally. It's obviously not finished, and this movie got pushed back. This movie got pushed back to 2025. I I don't know, guys. I wanted to get your thoughts on this. I wanted to get your thoughts on this first look because honestly, to me, it's not working for me. This first look doesn't do it for me. Doesn't work for me. Now, I'm really looking forward to seeing Rachel Zegler and Gal Gadot in this movie because while the live action remakes have been hit and miss for me, I always give them a chance. Which is why I say that I'm part of the problem when I say stop doing them, but I'm the one contributing the money to them. So, and there's been ones that I've enjoyed, but with this one. Snow White, first of all, is definitely one that I think could easily be modernized, could easily be updated. I think Rachel Zegler, like I said before, is amazing. Loved her in West Side Story. I enjoy Gal Gadot. I think she's actually like perfect for the evil queen. Just like the look of her, I think is gonna work so well. But the dwarves in this, I don't know. There's something about it that just looks off to me. But I want to hear from you guys. I want to hear from you guys about this. I'll start with you, Frank. What do you think of this Snow White live action remake coming out? And what do you think of this first look? Does it work for you? Are you a little bit it kind of freaks you out with the uncanny valley like me? What are your thoughts on this?
Disney it's running out of ideas as far as new live action content. But I'd rather just stay with the Little Mermaid live action. Honestly, with that I can settle with than with this. It's no this it was recent news to me because I wasn't aware about the live action Snow White being made. It was something that I felt like it was a discussion that could have been passed, that have been passed on. Like, okay, well, what other live actions Disney's gonna be tackling now? Because that's what they've been doing for quite some time, the past several years. So, I mean, the actors chosen for the roles. I mean, I admire all of them, Gal Gadot and Rachel. But and in terms of the whole design of the dwarves, like that's something, I don't know. It reminds me a little bit of what, like before Sonic the Hedgehog premiered, when that whole explosion of disappointment in the first animation. When Sonic was before the trailer was released, and so the studio like redesigned that image, that animation, until they done it right. I feel like maybe they would do the same thing with this for the dwarves, and I don't know. But honestly, I can't say I'm really that hyped or looking forward to much. I mean, I don't know. I have my doubts like pretty strongly firmed.
That's fair, man. That's fair.
Yeah.
How about you, DJ? What do you think of this first look? What do you think of this whole concept of updating Snow White in this way for this live action remake?
I'm excited for this. I'm going to tell you why.
Awesome.
This movie has been put through the ringer the last year or so. Ever since they announced it and announced Rachel Zegler and all this stuff, a lot of things have changed. A lot of things have come to fruition from it. These particular dwarves, totally different than what a lot of the images that were coming around from set photos just a couple months ago.
True.
That really had people angry. Honestly, this right here is fixing that problem that they had from those other set photos, because the hate that was getting was tremendous. And I'll be honest, I haven't liked all of Disney Plus show or the Disney live action movies. Recently, Pinocchio, Peter Pan, not good. But I enjoyed Aladdin. I enjoyed Little Mermaid. I like The Jungle Book. There's been some that I've actually enjoyed quite a bit. Even the Cinderella's fantastic.
Their Cinderella one is kind of underrated.
So there's several that I have enjoyed. And Little Mermaid recently, I loved Little Mermaid. I like it better than the animated version. So
nice.
So
nice.
Okay. So I'm not alone. But this is something, if you do it right, it can be good, and they can add more depth to these characters in a live action format than what they were able to do in the animated, and it could definitely be a positive thing if done correctly. This Snow White, I'm still gonna hold out hope for this. Yes, the CG looks uncanny. They've got another year now. I think they're going to be touching up that. I think they're going to be fixing that. I am very much in the camp of let's wait and see. Let's get our first actual trailer instead of some of these looks, whether it's the behind the scenes looks we were getting before or this first image they're sending out now. let's wait and see, find out what it's actually going to be, see what it really looks like, and then we'll start judging from there.
Mhm.
I think that's very well said. I think that's very well spoken, and I love all those points, man. And Ken, let's hear from you. What do you think of this movie, and what do you think of this iteration?
Yeah, so just from the picture that you've shown, it looks like Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs to me. I don't really see much of a difference other than I'm looking at a picture of the old animation and they all have white beards as opposed to people having red beards or black beards. But other than that, it's kind of like, oh look, it's the Seven Dwarfs. Like I really don't see much of a difference. And yes, they do look a little cartoony and what have you. But this is also a Disney movie. And I'm just kind of like mixing live action realism with some like weird looking individual characters is kind of par for the course when it comes to Disney. So I really don't understand like the trepidation around it, other than the fact that they don't have a track record of many good live action movies. I can understand that for sure. But I enjoyed Aladdin, just like you said, DJ. I also enjoyed Little Mermaid. I did not enjoy The Lion King, which is my favorite movie in general. So it was kind of like, hey, maybe hire voice actors instead of Beyonce. Who Beyonce's amazing, but an actress.
Oh, you don't want that phantom coming at you.
Oh, right.
Yeah. But yeah, so overall, just like DJ said, like I would like to wait until we get a trailer. And there's one thought I had, DJ, while you were talking about like the set photos of old versus the new ones.
Mm-hmm.
There's a possibility that during the course of this movie, they might transform into those people.
Yeah,
which
be part of it.
I wouldn't love, but at the same time, tell me a good story. I don't care what it is. You know, if you tell me a good story and make it reasonable, then I'm on board. So those essentially are my thoughts on the movie. Oh,
the only thing with that is there were a couple of females in that original photo too, so it'd be kind of hard to.
Yeah,
that's interesting.
Right. So, but here's one thing I do want to say about companies in general, like Disney and what have you. Don't put stuff out unless it's ready.
Yeah,
we will be okay. There's so much content for us to consume that you don't need to put out the pre version that it's not going to look at, because what's going to happen is you're going to get these responses of that doesn't look good. Yeah. So please stop doing that, y'all. Unless you just want us to talk about stuff and like drum up conversation. But yeah.
I think one of the reasons they may have done that with this particular thing is because they knew they were pushing the thing back, and I figured they thought a lot of the people were going to jump on them and say it's because of this, and we hate what we've seen so far. Yeah. So I feel like they're trying to say no, these are what the dwarves are going to be, not some of that stuff. So
yeah, it's totally possible. Yeah, that's totally possible for sure.
I feel like if they knew they were going to push it to 2025 and we'd have to wait that long, I feel like they just don't release the photo, to be honest with you. You're going to get noise online anyways, no matter what you do as a company like Disney. Yeah. That you just got to like move on and just ignore it sometimes. Yep. So, but anyways, guys, with this, let's do a buy or sell. Do we buy or do we sell this movie? And I'm going to give my first one for right now. I'm selling it. I'm not that excited at the moment. What do you guys think?
Okay. This is kind of a.
Yeah, you can give a halfway. You can give a halfway. Yeah, so Ken's halfway. Me and Frank are down, and DJ is smiling with a big thumbs up. So.
But I'm holding the right to change my mind once I see a trailer.
Yeah,
yeah, that's very fair. That's very
awesome.
fair.
Awesome.
I also just want to say that I think every lion should be voiced by Taylor Swift. There you go, guys. I fixed it.
Oh,
I fixed it. I saved us.
Now we need that.
Oh,
we need that. That'll be better than the original.
Remake The Lion King and make sure you get Taylor Swift in there.
Oh, Swifties will not be sleeping that night.
It'll make billions. It'll make all the money.
They will make all the money. I'll give them that.
They'll be camping in tents for 5 months just to see the movie. Before we end the show, I do want to get a little bit of you guys' thoughts on the Marvels, because we're only a couple days away now from the Marvels. It comes out on the 8th or the 10th. Sorry, it comes out on the 10th. And I just kind of want to, with all the stuff going on with like Variety's article coming out and Marvel, getting kind of kicked while they're a little bit down. I kind of want to celebrate the Marvel, because honestly, and I'm not saying you guys have to celebrate the Marvels. I want to hear your like real, authentic, true thoughts on it. But I'm looking forward to the end of the week. I'm looking forward to seeing the Marvels. I think the marketing has been a little bit weak. I'm kind of optimistic. I'm looking at it at an optimistic way that they keep showing the same kind of scenes over and over again in the marketing. The movie is an hour and 45 minutes long, so it is the shortest of all the MCU movies. But realistically, we've only seen maybe like 10 minutes of that hour and 45 minutes, I feel. So there's a lot, I think, that could be surprising, could be fun to watch in this. I love the lead characters, Monica Rambeau, Captain Marvel, Miss Marvel. I've enjoyed them in their soloings. I'm looking forward to seeing them all come together. I'm very much looking forward to seeing Miss Marvel on the big screen. I've been enjoying the trailers. I've been having fun with them. Even the little clips they're releasing on Twitter, I've checked out a couple of them. I think the film has a very fun, breezy, laid back vibe. And some people may want something big and epic, especially when we're going through like a multiverse saga right now. But I'm actually really looking forward to the end of the week and checking this movie out. And I just want to hear from you guys how you guys are feeling about the Marvels. Where is it with your anticipation level, and what are you looking forward to get out of it or hoping to get out of it? I'll start with you, Frank.
Bring it, really. I can't be any more excited. Well, can't be excited enough to just next Thursday to swing by and for me to head to IMAX and just watch it wholeheartedly. I don't care if the theater is half full or a quarter full. Like, I am there. I am experiencing something that I've been looking forward to, like, since the first trailer was dropped. Well, hell, ever since Miss Marvel had shown up last year on Disney Plus. Like this is something that doesn't necessarily have to deserve like all the hate that you would see in comments and articles and all of that. Because really, like, why? Like, you just got to ask why even waste the time writing these out when you have something that just feels genuinely solid, really fun, and has a heart to it. And honestly, that's something that we didn't see as much like in Captain Marvel. Like, we've seen it tremendously in Miss Marvel because it was genuine and authentic. And so that same energy, we'll be seeing it again on the big screen. You know, all the scenes that we've seen so far, you know, that fight scene with Kamala and Carol like switching places and fighting against those Kree soldiers, and with Nick Fury there
I
too.
saw that. I thought it looked cool.
Oh my gosh, it was exactly what I've hoped for. Like, I've seen it a lot of times. It still brings a smile to my face, and I can't wait to see this on the big screen, honestly. So, you know, for all intended purposes, like, this is a movie that is going to be unexpectedly great. I can't say that it's going to do well in the box office, but it's gonna be something refreshing. It's going to be something that you'll say like, wow, that was worth a while, really.
Yeah, hopefully we come out saying that, man. And Ken, how about you?
I'm over the moon. I'm excited for it. It really doesn't matter to me like whether or not I'm trepidatious about a Marvel movie coming out or not. When I get to the theater and the lights go down and the Marvel intro starts playing, I'm already in. You just got to play a good movie for me. So I'm always excited to see an MCU movie. This especially, I love Miss Marvel. I loved her show. I love Monica Rambeau. I love her introduction as well. Captain Marvel, I really do enjoy. I don't love her as much as I love the other ones, but it doesn't matter. I think she's a good character. So I'm really excited for this film. There's one you're saying about the trailer, Frank. Like, there's one part in the first trailer where Monica Rambeau's in Captain Marvel or Miss Marvel's house, and she like lights up and punches somebody in the face. It's a blink and you miss it moment, but she like cocked all the way back and punches dude in the face. You know, it was fantastic. Like, I'm really looking forward to this. It has Nick Fury in it. It has all these other characters who I really enjoy. So I really have no reason to Goose is in it. Yeah, the Flurkins. And it looks like there's a bunch of Flurkins in this movie. So I'm excited for it. I'm avoiding all TV spots and everything else. After the second trailer of something, I don't watch anything else because I want to be unspoiled going into something. So I'm really looking forward to seeing. And what you mentioned, Zach, about them only showing about 10 minutes of it, that's a really like important point. Because we really don't know what's happening in this movie. So I'm excited, man. I could not be more excited for this movie.
Usually by now I'm able to find some spoilers more than I've been able to. Usually because I'm looking for all of it. I'm watching every TV spot. I'm trying to get everything I can about a movie. I am complete opposite of Ken. I want to know the entire movie before I go see it because I just can't wait to get to the theater to see these movies. And regardless of what I thought of Captain Marvel, whether not being one of my top tier Marvel movies, Miss Marvel is my second favorite Disney Plus show, and
Mhm.
for no other reason, I cannot wait to see this movie because of her.
Yep.
I've told Ken this. I told my wife, like, we're gonna go out to eat tonight. That's gonna be my birthday tonight because I told her schedule whatever you've got with friends to be next week to go to the theater together because I want to go with a group of friends to go watch this movie. So that's going to be my birthday. Is Thursday night. We're meeting up with friends to go see this.
That's
so
gonna be awesome.
That's to me how excited I am for this. Like, I'm delaying my birthday to go see this movie with people. So
That's amazing, man.
Love it.
That's awesome. And yeah, hopefully, like, I'll like when I come out of the theater, and I know all you guys feel the same way. Like, if I didn't like it, I'll tell you guys I didn't like it. I'll tell you why I didn't like it. I'm really hoping that I do. And I hope that all of us, when we post our reviews, that our thumbnails have us smiling big.
Mhm.
Hopefully we're not disappointed by this. With that, guys, that is the show. That was Members Talk Live. So thank you guys very much for joining me. Thank you guys for being here. And please tell the people where they can find you.
I'm DJ. My channel's Movie Time Minute. Man, my screen looks clean today.
Looks great, dude. It looks amazing.
But you can find me on my channel. You can find me on some of the social media platforms. I do Sunday night news streams on all things movie related. You won't see this till probably after this next stream, but here in about an hour, I'm going to be streaming on my channel a birthday stream where I'm ranking all 34 of my favorite movies for my 34th birthday. So
It's gonna be awesome.
Oh.
Amazing, man. Yeah, guys, if you're watching this on the replay, like, go check out that video that he just did. It's fun time. I can tell you, I can already tell you guys in the future, it was a great time. You should check it out.
Awesome. Yeah, you guys can find me as Optimistic Forever on YouTube, also Optimistic Forever on Instagram and Twitter X. And as always, everybody have a good rest of the weekend.
Hey, I'm Kenny Sparks with a channel of the same name. Hopefully you guys come and stop by. I do movie reviews, trailer reactions, and video essays as well. Can't wait to see you guys when you come through, and make sure to drop a comment so we can have a conversation. It's transactional. Let's talk about it. All right, y'all. Thanks so much, Zach, and see you next time.
Beautiful, beautiful. Yeah, guys. And now the question goes to you. What do you guys think of all these topics? Comment down below. Let us know all your thoughts on these. And all their links are down in the description below. So definitely go and check out their channels. All right, guys. Thanks for joining us. And we'll see you again next time.